So now here is a brand that I've never covered on my channel before. They've been around for a number of years. It's an Italian brand. It's called Rubeus Milano. Here's a fragrance called Quercia. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, let you know what I think it smells like. I think it's amazing for the summertime, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Quercia by Rubeus Milano, I'll tell you what I think of the notes, the performance, the smell, the perfumer longevity, the composition in general, so on and so forth. But before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. It's absolutely free. Hit the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up if you took something of value from today's episode. Would really mean a lot to me. Now look, if you're interested in sampling or purchasing this fragrance, you may do so at Fragrapedia House. I'm going to leave all of the relevant links down below. They're not affiliate links. I'm not making any commission or anything like that. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just trying to make it easier for you to locate some of these harder to find niche brands on the market. I know in the case of this brand, they do have some offerings that are quite pricey. This is from the more inexpensive collection. The collection is called I Giardini di Venezia, and it's the Garden of Venice. This one is called Quercia. It's an Italian word and it translates to oak. Now, oak wood is an ingredient that's found in many other perfumes out there. Of course, this one does contain the namesake. It has oak. There's also oak moss. There's ginger. There's pink pepper. There's bergamot, cedarwood. There's a bit of jasmine in the heart as well. It dries down. It also retains that woody, earthy texture. It has a little bit of musk in here as well. In any case, with the oak and the jasmine and the bergamot, it really sounds like it's going to be a nice summertime fragrance composed by Jordi Fernandez. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that pink pepper and bergamot combination. Now, it's not overly spicy, and of course, pink pepper also has a reputation for smelling a little bit like rose. You're not going to get much of a rosy appearance from this fragrance. Now, there is jasmine in the heart. The jasmine just kind of adds a clean nature to the fragrance, but the oak is really the star of the show. And it's interesting because it's a little bit boozy, it's a little bit smooth. You have this green quality in the dry down on account of the oak moss, but it doesn't smell like an old school type of a fragrance. I think a lot of times when people think of oak moss, they think of late 70s, 80s releases that had a lot of those green ingredients in the dry down. That's not what I'm getting from this one, actually. It does have that woodsy presence, the cedarwood, the musk, the oak moss. Musk is not a woodsy ingredient, of course, but it does kind of add this clean nature to the fragrance that combines with the jasmine in the heart. It's warm, it's spicy, it's not sweet in any way. It has that woodsy, earthy duality in the dry down that I think is beautiful for this fragrance. And of course, with a name like I Giardini di Venezia, this is going to give you a bit of an earthy, garden-like, fresh type of a vibe, and I think it's done so beautifully, of course, with the namesake being Quercia, which is oak. I think this one definitely does give off that oak wood sort of a vibe, and oak is used in so many fragrances. Of course, Kilian has used oak in a number of fragrances, and sometimes you're reminded of the oak barrels that have absorbed the spirits that they've contained, and sometimes they could be warm and boozy and spicy, and there's a little bit of that vibe happening in here, but it also has that freshness on account of the jasmine and the musk, and I think it's a beautifully, beautifully blended fragrance. And the one thing that I admire the most about this is that it actually smells unique. As I'm smelling this one and trying to compare it to other jasmine, oak moss types of fragrances, I like that it still has that modernity. I like that it has enough of a freshness, and it doesn't smell like a pure garden type of a fragrance. It doesn't smell herbal or vegetal or overly aromatic or anything like that. And of course, you have other garden inspired fragrances. There's an entire collection by Hermes dedicated to it. Un Jardin blah blah blah, right? Sur le toit or sur le nid. So there's so many fragrances, but this one doesn't smell ultra green despite the beautiful presentation. It kind of gives you the impression that it's going to be heavy on the florals or the garden aspects, but jasmine is really what you're going to get most of in terms of a floral ingredient. It's the oak moss, the pink pepper, the bergamot, the cedar, the musk. It's a wonderful fragrance. I hope you have the opportunity to try it. Fragrapedia House has it. Once again, not a sponsored video, not an affiliate link, but I am going to leave the link to this fragrance down below if you're just interested in discovering it, getting to know it better. Hopefully you do acquire a sample, you try it on your skin, you see if it melds with your skin chemistry quite well, and I sincerely hope it does. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, for me personally, this is a unique fragrance. Oak is usually done in like a dark boozy type of a way, sometimes with vanilla and spices and amber and all that stuff. Here, it actually takes more of a fresh approach, which is quite interesting. It's a territory that I haven't really explored when it comes to the note of oak, and the overall smell is very pleasant. It's a highly inoffensive, sort of a mass appealing fragrance, niche leaning, right? So it doesn't have that sort of designer mass appealing compliment getting quality, but there are no rough edges is basically what I'm trying to say. Longevity on this one, you can expect about 8 hours on your skin, 7 to 8 hours I would say. Projection on this one was actually pretty good. For the first 45 minutes of application, it radiated within an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around that 5.5 hour mark. It became a skin scent right around that 8 hour mark. Versatility for this one, perfectly unisex. You can wear this one in the hotter weather or colder weather. I probably just wouldn't wear this one in the winter. I'm sure you could find something heavier for the winter. This is great for anybody of any age, and I think you can wear this one dressed up or dressed down. If it's a bit pricey for your tastes, then I can imagine people reserving this one for a dressed up scenario, but I find it to be highly versatile. As far as the presentation is concerned, I do like the sleeve, I like the graphic, I like the color palette, and they do have various fragrances in different colors, so I'm sure they look really nice if you have them lined up next to each other, but this is the only fragrance that I currently own from this brand. I do look forward to exploring more from the brand, but my final verdict on this fragrance is if you're a fan of these fresh, floral, and woodsy fragrances, you're looking for something unique for the summertime, you like notes like oak moss, oak, jasmine, you're looking for something that does have a bit of modernity about it, definitely check out Quercia by Rubeus Milano. I think it's a wonderful fragrance, and now I'm very curious to see what else the brand has to offer. So chances are in the very near future, I'm going to be picking up a few more fragrances from the brand. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, you know what to do. Please support the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon and give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.